Listen, so today I'm sitting down with Lee, fitness extraordinaire, reality TV star. Lee, how are you today?
I'm amazing. I'm happy to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm happy you're here as well. I'm glad that we were able to make it happen. Before we even get into it, I always wanted to know. So you're in the fitness space.
Yeah.
You've been in the fitness space for a minute. Um, for as someone that's in the fitness space, could you see yourself dating somebody that is not fitness conscious?
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like that gives me room to add value to
Okay.
someone. Like if they're not knowledgeable about it or don't think it's important,
Yeah.
then I could, pour that into their cup and let them know, like, hey, let's eat this instead of that. And listen, I don't know, I think it's beautiful because, um, you know, being around me is the energy is kind of contagious, and you're gonna be like, oh, that's actually good.
Yeah.
I actually feel better now that I'm exercising. So I
Yeah.
like to give that to people, so I don't mind.
Yeah.
You can't be just all the way like,
Sloppy.
yeah, nah.
So do you feel like you would be more excited to be with somebody that may not be on your level of fitness? Like, do you feel like that's something that would excite you to be able to um nurture them in that way?
Absolutely, 100%. Um, I'm actually not interested at all in dating people who are in my same industry.
What?
Yeah, no, I don't like it. Like it's like I like for my dating situations or relationships to be like, I learn about what you do because I feel like that's one of my powers. Like, you do something totally different, and then I get to learn about it. And then I get to show you that I cared enough to learn about what you're doing. So,
Yo, I think that's the first time that I've heard somebody in the fitness space say that.
yeah, it's not my vibe. Like, I do not want to call you and you're like, did you hit your macros today?
Uh,
No, no, thank you. I don't
right,
want.
right. Because most times you see like people that are in the fitness space, like they date each other,
Yeah,
right? So you have like the fitness couple, and so everybody, they're making workout videos together, and
yeah.
she's on his back, and
Yeah, no, thank you.
no,
I'm good on that, actually. I would prefer to have my person come just living a regular life and then like, yeah, he got like this since he was with me.
okay. So you take pride in helping him build in the area that he may not be proficient in.
Yes, adding value in any way. Like that's my thing. Like I don't think that you should take up space in people's life and not add value. So if there is lots of opportunity there, then with it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So are you single right now?
Um, I am. I
Okay,
am
you took a
single.
pause.
Yeah, it's been a interesting dating year for me.
Why? Tell me why.
um, just from, kind of stretching myself and coming outside of my comfort zone to date on reality TV. That's very different. And then it also I guess has brought a lot of new attention and different people get to see you when you are on a major network.
Right.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I already had some good, people trying to see what's going on, but it just gets better the more people get to see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you feel like you have some good options right now.
Yeah. I mean,
So you've always had good options.
yeah, when people talk about the dating pool having all those things in it, I'm like,
She's like, it's not
oh,
me.
oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like I have had really good dating experiences. I'm typically like in a relationship. Like I've only had two serious like adult relationships. Like one was like 7 years,
Wow.
and then the other one was like a year and a half
Yeah.
to almost 2 years.
Yeah. So you're meeting some pretty incredible people.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, do you feel like you're having decision paralysis right now?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. So why would you say you're single?
um, I honestly just came into a season where I'm ready to like try to submit my final answer. Like this is the final answer. This is the person we are, . I've been building my business
Yeah.
I really had to work hard at that because my daddy thought I was crazy when I left insurance adjusting to do fitness. So I really needed to make it work.
Yeah.
So I kind of poured myself into that very heavily. So long distance relationships kind of worked in my favor. Just because I really can't worry about what you're eating tonight, actually, because I'm dog tired when I get to the house.
Yeah.
So now I'm in a space where my business is doing very well. Like God has blessed me tremendously.
I love that for you. Yeah.
Thank you, in my business. So now I can focus on that other part of my life. I think I was intentional with the decisions and stuff I made before. I don't regret any relationship that I've been in. But I think it's all about timing and alignment and what God has for you. I don't feel like I'm late. I don't feel any of those things. I don't feel pressure. I just feel like what's for me is going to be for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed this season of singleness?
I guess since I'm ready to have a family, I wouldn't say that I'm enjoying being single, but it's cool. Like I wouldn't necessarily say I'm enjoying. I'm looking forward to having my person, but enjoying, I don't know. Like I like knowing like no matter what movie is coming out, I know who I'm going to see it with. Like I like that in life. So being in this space is very different. I'm not good with juggling multiple people because I like to study you and like know all these things. And I'm kind of deep. I'm really deep actually.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really work that well with casual dating.
Yeah, for sure. So do you feel like I actually have two questions. The first question is, do you have any finalists in your life right now?
Wow. I wouldn't say finalist. I feel like I have
I don't know. You
like
paused with that question. She's like, yo, I don't want to give too much away.
I feel like I'm still feeling people out to see what's what. I can't say like, oh, these people are it. Because I don't know yet. I think with, every passing day we learn new stuff about people, and sometimes you learn things that might not fit into your life when you thought it would.
Yeah.
I've been just trying to be intentional as a woman with I think it's easy for us to have an encounter with someone who is nice and they kind of fit what we think we're looking for. And then you kind of in your head, if you're not careful, can plan out the wedding, your kids, your whole life and all that stuff. So I'm trying to just be present, like, and enjoy the moment and see what's what.
Yeah. I think that happens often, especially for women, right? Woman meets a guy and she feels like, yo, he's the one, and she's like, I'm gonna have his babies, and
that's dangerous.
we're gonna live that. I mean, it's happened to me before, right? Where it's like very, very early on. It's like, yo, this dude, like, I want to spend my life with him.
Right.
And it's like, yo, we have so much exploring to do together, right? Before we can make that determination.
Yeah, and it comes off sometimes like women can be like, "Oh, he wasn't consistent, he wasn't intentional." I'm like, "Well, he probably just intended to get to know your last name first." Like
100%.
Right.
100%.
When you're discovering people, sometimes you discover that they don't fit. Like they don't fit. And that's okay. Like he's not a bad person, he's just not your person, So
I feel like you're talking about what's happened in my life, right? I think when someone really likes another person a lot, they become frustrated when that person doesn't show the level of interest in them that they wanted them to show, right?
yeah.
But I think dating or getting to know people is all about exploration, right? Sometimes in that exploration, you discover that the person that you're getting to know, you really don't really like them like that.
Right.
And so in that situation, it's okay to fall back or to not be as intentional because you discover that maybe they're better off being your friend than they are being your significant other.
That's a hard thing for people to just grasp.
Yeah.
Like, and I had to do that on national television recently, and I'm very good with that. Like, I'm cool with like, oh, okay, we could be cool, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's how I am because
Yeah.
I'm not like people are so obsessed with like outcomes
Yeah.
that they're not in love with the process. They're
Let's
not
go.
open to the process or trying to even go through the process. You just want to go straight to the wedding and now you married to somebody you don't even know.
Yeah.
And now you looking crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like seeing my parents, marriage, they've been married my entire life. So I know that takes a lot of hard work
Yeah.
and it takes y'all really, really, really being aligned. And it's really important who you choose to do that with.
100%.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. Man, there's so much I can say. I can definitely tell you that that we do live in a generation of people that are addicted to outcomes,
mhm.
right? And so I find that people are more excited about the wedding, right? Getting to that destination of the wedding
Yeah,
than the process of actually getting to know the person, right?
yeah,
And so if we're not careful, we focus on the highlights, right? And not the small moments that lead up to that moment, that big moment, right? I remember somebody asked Kobe Bryant about, if he's addicted to winning.
mm,
And he said, "No, I'm not addicted to winning." He said, "I play the game because I love to learn it."
mhm,
He said, "Every opportunity that I have to get on the court is an opportunity for me to learn something today that I didn't know yesterday."
yeah,
And I feel like if we take that same approach when it comes to relationships, we would find that the beauty is in those small moments where you get to learn the person, study them. I love what Nipsey Hussle said when he was talking about, you need to study your woman to know what she
yeah,
needs before she even asks,
mhm,
right? To be able to anticipate her needs, um, and give her what she needs before she knows she needs it, right?
right,
Like there's beauty in those moments.
mhm,
So I think it's beautiful that you have that perspective.
yeah.
Sure.
Thank you. I think a lot of times we've seen, well, here recently, we've seen a lot of like divorce happening, especially like being filed on the woman's part saying, well, I wasn't happy. And I'm like, that means you didn't understand marriage before you went into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because nowhere did it say, like, I'm going to be happy every day,
Mm-hmm.
all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when you really understand marriage, you know that y'all might have not only a couple rough months, you might have years where you kind of don't like them,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to really understand that even if I don't like you, I still choose to do this with you.
Sure.
Not necessarily saying, oh, you're being mistreated, that you stay through that. But I I definitely like people don't understand love. They don't understand marriage. Like wanting to have the wedding. My wedding plans have went from grand with all these things to like a destination wedding with the people who are close to us. That's it. Like that's all I want to do. Like I don't want to have a big show because for what?
Yeah.
Like why?
Yeah.
The marriage is the important part of it. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to go spend thousands and thousands of dollars to party for people who might not even be there with us when we're going through something or might not be helpful to us when we're going through something. So just, like as we grow, we learn and I'm so happy that I didn't get married when I had that big wedding in my
Yeah.
head.
Yeah. Listen, I feel like I'm the poster child for doing relationships the wrong way. Right.
What?
So but in that process I've learned so much.
Mhm.
Right. So I was married for 5 years.
Okay.
Right. And so I did everything the wrong way when it came to my marriage, right? Um, and so because of that, at this stage of my life, I approach relationships totally different because I
Mhm.
know what it's like to rush. I know what it's like to not walk in integrity.
Mhm.
I know what it's like to not take the time to really study my woman.
Mhm.
I know what it's like to relinquish commitment when my mood changed. Right. I
Mm.
know what all of that is like. And so in that process of being married and coming out of a marriage and having those tough conversations with myself, right? Processing through the things that happened, having tough conversations with people I loved, even reaching back out to her and meeting with her and making amends, right? In any way that I could, right? By just
Yeah.
being honest about where I was, the things that happened. I've learned so many valuable lessons about marriage,
Right.
and the way to approach it the next time around. So I think that what you said is absolutely right, for sure.
Do you feel like you were too young or just not in the right,
Yeah,
just not emotionally ready
yeah.
or
I don't feel like I was too young. So I was 28 when I got married. I don't feel like I was too young. Um, I feel like I lacked the character
mm,
to really perpetuate a successful and
yeah.
healthy marriage, right? And I feel like that's extremely important. If you don't have that, then your marriage, your relationship is gonna fall apart,
Oh, for sure.
right? Because that character is so important. So, um, one thing I can tell you is that I believe that God builds character through adversity,
Definitely.
right? But sometimes we have to lose things, and sometimes you know, um, we have to hit the bottom,
Mhm.
right, to develop the character needed for whatever the next stage or level of our life is. So
Right.
I feel like that was the case for me, right? But I allowed the process to teach me. And so
That's what I was about to say. Like,
yeah,
God forbid you hit the bottom and God do all these things to teach you something and you still don't get the lesson.
right,
Like, that's big. So
yeah,
you can always take, like, I always take breakups and unfortunate events in relationships as like, I'm supposed to learn something from this. So,
100%. Yeah, you said something earlier in that conversation. You talked about how you're really deep.
mhm,
Do you feel like that's surprising to people when they get to know you because of an expectation that they may have based upon how you look?
absolutely.
Okay. How do you
So when
normally
I went to
navigate that?
therapy,
How do you normally navigate that?
uh, when I went to therapy, my therapist actually explained that to me very clearly. She said, let me tell you what's going on here. She said, people think that they're getting like this arm candy, and then you come with so much depth. Like, she's like, yeah. It's kind of like you look like you're gonna be this way, and then when you get to talking and it's just different. So I definitely feel like that has been my experience in relationship.
Yeah.
And
It's like you get
I
into a
mean,
relationship and it's like surprise.
yeah, well, not even in the relationship, like the dating phase, because I don't quickly get into relationships. Like, I want to see you in different seasons. I want to see how you are when things are not going well. And I'm earlier, like in my 20s and stuff, I would always like just talk to a person for like a year before we say, is this the, are we going to be in a relationship or not? Because I feel like around 6 to 9 months, that facade starts wearing off. And I'm like, yeah, okay. No, thank you, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so I think I would say before we even get in a relationship, um, people get to discover like, oh, she's not that. And then they're like, okay, well, this is more than I expected. And they think they can handle it. But um, I kind of require excellence.
Yeah.
So it can be challenging for people.
Yeah. What does that excellence look like for you?
Um, just always being willing to evolve, always being willing to work on yourself and be aware of yourself. Um, I think that I would say like for the other person, like being in a relationship with me is like having to look at yourself in the mirror. Cause I will ask like, okay, well, do you think that's probably from something from your childhood? Or do you think like I will ask just because I think that your partner is supposed to push you to be like your best self. Like,
Mhm.
no, we are not trees. We are not stuck. This is not like I really, really, really despise the like when people say this is just how I am. What do you mean?
Mhm.
Like that's problematic. Like you need to work on it. It's okay. Like
Yeah.
we can change.
Yeah. Yeah.
So um I think it's just like an experience of like being pushed to be your best self, but in the most gentle and loving way possible and accepting way possible. Like I think that love is definitely not wanting to, like, coming into a situation saying, I want to change you. Never that. Like, I accept you as you are and I love you as you are, but let's examine these things and see if we can be better. Because that's how I am. Like, I literally wake up every day and I'm trying to be my best self.
Yeah.
I'm trying to love the people around me the best way I know how.
Yeah.
So I expect that from my person, and people are not into that.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be frustrating if
Hmm.
you're somebody who is intentional about um, growth and progression
Yeah.
to be with someone who has accepted where they are,
Yeah. And
who they are.
to be with someone too that's used to like throwing money at something and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
literally don't want a purse. I don't want a car.
Right.
I don't want a watch.
Right.
I want you to stop lying.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Like,
sure. Listen, here's the thing, right? Um, money can't heal or fill a hole that exists in your soul,
mm-mm.
right? Like after achieving, and I'll be honest, a lot of times what happens is people achieve, they strive to achieve to cover up, right?
Mhm.
Deficiencies that they have in other areas,
Yeah.
right? So, and money only further reveals who you are, right? And if that person is not healed, they're not whole, they're not mature, they're not focused on becoming the best version of themselves. Like that only further amplifies
Yeah, but
what it is.
I think it kind of also, as long as you are willing to date people who don't have that depth, it's okay. Because a lot of people, honestly, it's like an even exchange. Like, some women date guys with certain status for a lifestyle, and it's not really required that you have good character. And I think it works, especially like today. Like, as people are so in love with everybody's highlight reel on Instagram. Oh, everything looks so perfect. And I have this car and I have all these things. And that's what people are trying to, like, attain. So I
Yeah,
think that they can wiggle by and get, like, they know I can just go get a easier target.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was just having a conversation earlier today, and I was saying that social media has perfected the highlight reel, right?
Hmm.
And so you see so many people talking about what they have, what they do, their successes, right? And all of that is cool, but I found that there's a large population of people that don't even know what it feels like to be successful.
Hmm.
And so um some of that can be uh unrelatable,
Yeah.
right? For me, I remember when I began to go viral on social media, it was interesting because I went viral while talking about my failures.
Mm.
I went viral talking about the places in my life that I wasn't so proud of, but I was intentional about being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And what I found was that people began to embrace that because although everybody hasn't achieved success, we all have experienced failure.
Hmm.
And so it made it relatable to people because they're like, yo, I can relate to that. I may not have a failed marriage. Um, I may not have failed in the same ways that he failed in, but he failed and he's had the courage to be honest about it. And whatever failure I'm experiencing, I know that I can rise from the ashes if I take these particular steps, right? And so I think it's important for people to stop pretending.
For sure. I think that my journey recently on reality TV has gifted me with that. Um,
Yeah, you weren't ready to love
I
Dallas.
Yes, I was on Ready to Love Dallas, and um, the way the show is edited, the way the show is done, I look like rejected Regina. And that's how the show is edited.
Yeah.
And I think that made me more relatable to, like, women. Before, I had um my social media, like, on a business page, you can see what the breakdown is. I had like 80% men. And since the show, it looks like I'm going through a hard time and all of this stuff. And the ladies are now like, oh, okay. Because I've had like a business analysis done, and the guy, he told me, he was like, women don't, they look at you and it feels unattainable. You don't appear relatable. Like they don't think they can ever get this body. They can never do these things that you're doing. And I'm always like so positive, and it's not relatable.
Right.
So I guess they got to see like just more of me and me going through like that process.
Yeah.
And it made me like more relatable. So I'm very grateful for that, because I've gotten like messages and stuff like, if I could just talk like you, I know I would have a man. I'm like, well, I'm single. So don't do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, like people have this idea about like, oh, this is her whole life. No, like I go through struggles and I've experienced loss.
Yeah.
I've been cheated on. I've been lied to, like all of these things. So I'm grateful for that part of it.
Yeah, for sure. So you were on the show, and do you feel like you were misrepresented on the show?
Um, I wouldn't say I was misrepresented. I would say, I guess I didn't realize how much like editing and stuff goes into reality TV. And they kind of just highlighted one part of my journey. And me, I go in there like trying to be my authentic self. Like, okay, I think it's fair to like let some of the guys know. One, I'm terrible at texting. Horrible. Like, I'm not good at it. And you're saying text all of these guys, like, because pretty much after the mixer, almost all of them expressed interest in getting to know me. And I think that it's fair that if I know, like off the rip, like there's no chance that we are gonna be compatible in life, I was like, you know, you can focus on the other ladies. And it has been twisted so many different ways. I think another one of the people on the show was like, well, she dated all of them and none of them picked her. And I was like, that sounds like someone who's in a pick me contest, you know, like, and I'm not into that. Like, I don't want someone to pick me just for the sake of saying, everybody picked me, you know, like, that's not fun. I don't want to stand on a bridge and say, I don't choose you. Like, I don't want to do that. That doesn't bring me joy. I don't like hurting people's feelings. So I think from the beginning, just setting people free of that. I was very quiet. So I've gotten feedback online like, oh, she's boring. And I'm not. I just don't open myself up to like everybody. Like, and I'm very like observant. Like I watch and see how people are moving.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I would say was a misrepresentation was that they continue to like show me expressing interest in this one particular guy. And it looks so one-sided. And I really had a problem with that because a lot of women follow me on like my fitness page. I never want to lead anybody to think you gotta be like, I'm worth it. Please like me. Like, that is not my speed at all. Like, so I feel like that was like a misrepresentation, but I'm cool with it.
It's so funny because I was casted for the show. I went through the interview process. They selected me to be on the show, but I didn't have peace about it. And I
Yeah.
remember taking some time just like processing through it. And the reason why I didn't have peace about it is because I didn't want anybody to be able to control the way that I was presented to the world.
That is huge.
You know?
That's huge because, like I said, I didn't realize the power of editing. They can make you say things that you didn't even say.
Yeah.
Like, you literally, if on one day you said I, the next day you said need in a different sentence, they can put it all together. It's some sort of editing, like where they pan and show it doesn't show your mouth talking. They can put words together. And Because you look watching the show, I'm like, "Damn, I said that.
So I never said that.
I don't remember saying that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I felt like alignment either, but I wanted to stretch myself and go outside my comfort zone this year and kind of just put myself out there. And then, my mom was like, "You're doing it. You're doing it." And
yeah, my mom really wanted me to be on the show too.
yeah. I mean, it would have been good. You probably could have helped us out, all the love stuff. And you could have probably been on there like, let's sit down and have let's talk about it.
Yeah. I feel like I also question my ability to find authentic love on the show.
Yeah.
And so for me, I didn't want to go on and risk being inauthentic.
Mhm.
My brand, the brand that I've built has been built off of vulnerability, authenticity,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, transparency. And so I didn't want to risk that.
Yeah, I think for sure a lot of people come onto the show for exposure.
Sure.
And I think in a lot of ways it backfired
Yeah.
for some people going on for exposure. And now you like the way you've been exposed.
Right.
Yeah. So I was really open to like, maybe God has a miracle. This is going to work. You're going to meet somebody. I think my intention was more so trying to, I don't know why in my mind I thought they were like experts who picked people. Maybe because we have to go
I
through a
feel
lot
like
of psych evals. And
yeah. I remember I did all of that. I think that's the way that it was presented. It was presented like, we assess the type of person you are. We look at your psychological evaluation,
yeah.
and then we choose other people on the show that we feel would be a good match. And then when I saw the pool of the people that were chosen, I was just like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
feel
was
like I
good.
dodged
I
the
made the
bullet.
right decision.
Yeah.
No.
I'm okay over here.
Yeah.
I even have a friend that was on the show, and I remember I was talking to him about it. I was kind of talking through it with him, and I was telling him the reason why I decided not to be on the show.
Mhm.
And so maybe 3 days ago, he called me. He was like, "Nate, you were right. I probably shouldn't have went on the show either, because they painted me in this particular light."
Yeah.
So I get it, but it's one of those things where like you walk through the process and you learn it, and every show is not like that, right? I think that it was just, and this is not to speak, negatively about Ready to Love or anything like that, but
I think that's the nature of reality TV though.
yeah,
And because we have a culture of people who are in love with drama,
yeah,
it's really hard to work around that. Like I've said before, because I think people ask like, why aren't they highlighting you more? Why I'm not with the rah-rah. I'm not like, I think, like even watching the reunion, I think somebody was like talking crazy to me and I was just looking around like, who's she talking to?
unbothered, completely.
Yeah, I'm not
I
doing
saw the
it.
clip today. You were completely very classy.
Yeah,
I love
like,
it. Very
thank
classy.
you.
Very
Thank you. I
unbothered.
think that it's
You
important.
get it from your mom, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I know you do. She walked in and I was like, oh yeah, I see. I see.
I think it's important that Black girls be able to look at TV and see something that's not like what they want to show. Because,
Yeah.
like how they want to show Black women in the media is very concerning to me because it sticks. It sticks. Like you think that Black women are spicy with this. If you just look at shows, look at what you see, like how you see Black women showing up, even in movies and stuff like that. I guarantee you, white women would not allow a movie to be produced calling them the woman king.
Mm.
It's like like I'm like, no, let's not actually show all of this masculine energy. Like I really don't like it just because seeing like Black families are not being built. And that's a problem because you look at it like, oh, I don't want to marry a Black woman because she's going to be problematic and she's going to be having an attitude and she's going to be doing all this and that. And they continue to show you that every day.
Yeah.
You see it on TV and you don't realize how like that gets ingrained in your brain. And that's what you feel like Black women are.
Yeah.
But Black women are not a monolith. We come in many different versions.
Yeah, for sure. I can definitely say that there's been an agenda to feminize Black men
Mhm.
and to make Black women more masculine.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but I love the way that you handled yourself in that situation.
Thank
You were
you.
completely unbothered, very classy. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like you handled it with grace.
Thank you. I think at one point my dad's language slipped out of my mouth. I did say a cuss word at the reunion.
Yeah.
I was over it. I'm like, y'all, we've been here for 11 hours. Please get me out.
Yeah. She's like, I'm done.
I was over it. I think it was a pretty intense scene where people are just not being honest, and I'm just like, okay, look, we really don't have to do this because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We can leave.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was pretty over it.
No, it's all good. What are you working on now? What's next for Lee?
Oh, I definitely have some things in the works. I'm working on an ebook that's just talking about like rejecting low quality dating experiences and just having the confidence to do that because I feel like a lot of people settle because they think, oh, they won't get something better or just for the sake of not being single. But like those standards are not for nothing. Like you have a vision for what you want for your relationship. And if you stick to it, like I feel like you will come into alignment with your person, that you don't have to just settle for whatever crumbs people offer you. Like you deserve the whole cake.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
For sure. What does without giving away everything that's in the ebook, what does that look like? What does it look like to reject low quality experiences? Like how can somebody do that?
Um, I believe that um a good woman or a man, I feel like your most powerful move is like walking away. Like when you've been good to somebody or I'm not talking about people who are just not aware of themselves. I mean, like you're aware of yourself, you've done the work and you've shown up as your best self. I feel like your power move is never to like lash out, never to do any of that. Like,
Yeah.
It's now you don't have access. Congratulations, you're with the general population now.
Access denied.
Access denied. So it just looks like breaking down the steps. I think it all stems from like how you view yourself. Like I see myself as someone who is worth God's best. So
Yeah.
I think I'm going to try to give that in true transformation in the book. I don't want to like just give a book that's like, oh, it's good to read. No, I want you to come out on the other side of the book feeling better about walking away from those low quality experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. Where can people find you? So when you drop this book, where can they find you so that they can get it?
You can find me on Instagram at Lily1908. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Body by Lee. That's Body X Lee. If you're trying to work out and get your health and wellness on. And yeah, my fitness group is a vibe. So definitely look into that. I have a huge group of women. We travel together. We celebrate together. We support each other's businesses. Like it's truly like an anomaly. So if you want to be a part of the greatest girl group on earth,
Tap in, right?
tap in.
Listen, this has been beautiful. I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and have the conversation. I think that it was extremely insightful, and I feel like everybody should see it.
I do too. This was good. This
Yeah,
was really good. I
yeah.
enjoyed speaking with you, and your energy is just it's so calm and welcoming and soothing. And yeah, it was a good time.
I appreciate that. Thank you. We got to do it again.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. Me
Yeah,
and
we'll
you can
do.
talk We can talk.
Whenever, right? Whenever. I appreciate it, man. Listen, until next time.
All right.
All right. Yo, I loved it.
Yeah, me
I
too.
loved it. Wow. Very, very impressed.
You're like warm.
Like
You
warm butter.
are so smart.